Hello! Okay, The Pope's Exorcist. The film is based on the memoirs of a Catholic priest who goes by the name of Gabriele Amort. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And it's based on his memoirs. An exorcist tells his story and an exorcist more stories. He was an Italian Catholic priest and exorcist of the Diocese of Rome who claimed to have performed tens of thousands of exorcisms throughout his life. My expectations for this movie were pretty low. We've had so many of these movies now over the years and they pretty much play out the same. You kind of know what to expect. They're all trying to rip off or replicate William Friedkin's The Exorcist, and they never quite achieve the atmosphere and horror of that classic movie. Don't get me wrong, there have been Exorcist movies since then that I think have come quite close, but the majority just don't really hit that mark. There were a couple of movies that this film, The Pope's Exorcist, reminded me of. It kind of reminded me of a Marvel movie. It also reminded me an awful lot of the 90s Brendan Fraser's The Mummy and Van Helsing even. It has that kind of similar vibe and energy about it. You know, this was Russell Crowe playing an almost superhero kind of exorcist, and you know what? For the most part, I kinda enjoyed this movie. It was a interesting experience, put it that way. Tonally, this movie shouldn't have worked. It's a blend of humour, eeriness, over-the-top silly horror, controversial subject matters. For me, this movie tonally should not have worked, but I felt like it just held together. And as a result, this experience actually ended up being kind of different and fresh and kind of new, even though, you know, it's got the very kind of familiar tropes and, you know, you are going to die, you know, like the script is terrible, but it kind of had that sort of, that freshness about it. It was different. Even though, unfortunately, in the third act, it does fall into that kind of predictable, seen it all before kind of conclusion. I appreciated the bonkers approach to the story. Like, it is over the top, it's very kind of loud, and, you know, the script is not the greatest. I found the script was quite weak and really hammy in places, along with the performances. The script and the performances was really hammy, but again, kind of works for what I felt they were going for with this movie in regards to tone. It is a little bit uneven. You know, it does touch on some controversial subject matters, which I kind of liked. But I feel like ultimately the movie worked mainly down to Russell Crowe and his performance. I really dug Russell Crowe in this. I liked him. And I feel he gave a real good performance. He was really good in this. The movie is directed by a Julius Avery. He's also directed The Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone, and he also directed Overlord. And if you've seen those movies, it has a similar energy and vibe. I think they did a really good job with the lighting and the set design. It really helped elevate this sort of eerie atmosphere in certain moments. But this is not a scary movie, and it's definitely, I regard this as being more in sort of the realm of 1999's The Mummy and Van Helsing. For me anyway, this isn't a scary film, but it has a lot of energy, and yes, tonally it's a little bit uneven and it shouldn't work. The script is really not that great, but I just can't help but I enjoyed what I was seeing on the screen. I think they did a fantastic job with the set design, the cinematography. It really captured that kind of vibe of the era in which this is based. It's based during 1987, and I think they did a really good job at kind of capturing that era and vibe of horror movies of that era as well. And the score, the music is also great by a Jed Cazell. I really dug the score in this film. The film is over the top. It's silly in places, there are moments of eeriness, but it's not a scary film. Performances all around are okay, very hammy in places. Russell Crowe is the standout. I really dug him in this film. There's no real emotional weight to it. There is an attempt, in regards to Russell Crowe's character, as well as the family in which their son is possessed by this demon. Now I will say, the boy who plays the son who gets possessed, he was actually quite good in this as well. But unfortunately, the dialogue that he's given it just didn't work for me, and it was just very kind of generic, like, you're all gonna die, and it was just, do you know what? Do something different kind of thing. Like, but performances were okay, but I just didn't feel like there was much of a dynamic, or there wasn't much substance or depth behind these characters to really care and give this movie an emotional impact. But it was enjoyable to a degree, and I wasn't expecting that. I like that they attempted to do something different and not just give us a generic, we've seen it before Exorcist movie. I don't think this is a great movie, but I don't think it's a bad movie. It's a movie that kind of works but shouldn't work, and I just ended up enjoying it more than I expected to. This is one moment in the movie involving Russell Crowe's character, and he just knocks this door down, and the way he does it, it was like, fuck, this is a fucking kick-ass Exorcist, and it's like, yeah! It was almost like a superhero version of The Exorcist, and yeah, I had fun. That third act is a massive sort of generic kind of underwhelming, seen it all before kind of, it was a bit of a letdown. A lot of CGI in that third act, but the CGI was also okay. If you've seen my previous reviews, you'll know I hate it when they use CGI in horror movies. I really think horror movies should focus on and use more practical effects because it has more impact. But hey, that's just my personal opinion. So yeah, they are my thoughts on The Pope's Exorcist. Ended up enjoying it more than I thought I would, and I will be giving The Pope's Exorcist a 6.5 out of 10. So yeah, what did you guys think? Let me know below. Have you seen it? Do you agree or disagree with anything I've said? Do you think I'm completely wrong and the film is terrible? It's the worst film of the year? Please let me know below and let's get discussion going. And if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If you want to watch future reviews from a geek in Wales, just ramble on, then please hit the subscribe button. It will mean an awful lot. I am in the middle of creating a new setup, which is going to have a bit more of a film movie vibe. My next review will be for Renfield, which is out on the weekend. I'm really looking forward to checking that out. I mean, you've got Nicolas Cage playing Dracula and it just looks bonkers. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Renfield, and my review for that will be up over the weekend or by the end of Sunday. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.